Of Lies and Rain is a story-driven sci-fi first-person shooter set in a post-apocalyptic world developed by Castello Inc. The game caught everyone's attention after its announcement, and especially when the demo dropped. Since then, the hype has only grown, but can the game actually deliver on what was shown, or is there trouble beneath the surface? Let me tell you right now, considering this was made by just 5 people, it's an impressive achievement. I had a good time with the game, but there are definitely a few things we need to talk about. So without further ado, let's jump into the review, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Before we start, I want to thank Castello Inc. for the review key. Thank you very much, and as always, this will not influence my review. I'll try to keep everything as spoiler-free as possible. Of Lies and Rain is set in a dark, post-apocalyptic sci-fi world in the year 2048, where humanity has been driven underground. You play as a data form who wakes up on the surface with no memory, guided by an unfamiliar voice. The main conflict is a 20-year war against a rogue artificial intelligence called ADE, which has taken control of the surface. Your mission is to stop ADE. The story moves between the real, gray, distorted world and a digital one that you access through your special abilities. These two realms blur the line between human and data form. You must fight to reclaim your identity and uncover the truth behind the world's destruction and the people responsible for it. When you start the game, you wake up with no memories and quickly see that the real world is ruined, gray, empty, and raining mercury, which forced humanity underground. The surface is full of AI creatures like floating snakes, snails, scorpions, spiders, and more. Heads up, there are a lot of spider enemies with robot legs and real bodies. If you don't like spiders, it might bother you a bit, but don't worry, this isn't a horror game. You can touch or move almost all objects, which feels very VR AF. If you want to try something, just do it. Most of the time, it works. Scattered around the world, you'll find items you can collect. Floppy disks with story logs, ammo, health, inhalers, masks, and grenades. Masks protect you from areas filled with spores, but they only last for a short time. Inhalers help clear your lungs if you breathe in spores without a mask. Stims heal you when you inject them into your hand. You'll also find small cubes called GPUs. These are used to upgrade your weapons. For example, adding more ammo or stronger firepower. You can also upgrade your character with more health and data world bonuses. Upgrades can be bought at stations scattered through the world. My tip, search carefully for these cubes because the game gets harder the further you go, especially in the data worlds. You have 3 main weapons, a pistol, a machine gun, and a shotgun. With upgrades, you can add laser sights, hollow sights, more power, and bigger magazines. These upgrades help, but they don't make the game too easy. The real world has a nice mix of places, subways, tunnels, offices, and large outdoor areas. They all keep that dead, post-apocalyptic feeling, which helps with the immersion. There are some small puzzles and climbing sections. If you get stuck, look for holes, something to climb, or a hidden door. There's always a way forward. Sometimes you'll find locked doors with a pad that you touch with your hand. This triggers a small hacking minigame. They're simple but fun, and usually lead to an upgrade station or loot inside. You'll also find portals that you can activate. By placing your hand inside, you're transported to the data worlds. These areas feel very Tron-like, and your goal is to reach the exit portal. In these data worlds, you can collect GPUs and data strings to unlock more of the story. You use your right hand for weapons, and your left for a gravity gun, which helps with platforming. Sometimes the portal is locked until you defeat certain enemies, and in some worlds, a giant worm chases you, so time matters. The data worlds ramp up on difficulty the further you progress and are generally harder. When you die, you have to restart the data world since there are no checkpoints. There are a few issues we have to address. The enemy AI can be quite weak. They sometimes just wander around and don't feel very threatening. The spiders, for example, can get stuck when jumping or just stare for a few seconds before attacking. If they reacted faster, combat would feel much more exciting. There's also some jank when trying to grab items. Sometimes your hands glitch out or you hit invisible walls pushing you back. Buying the gravity gloves helps a lot with this, letting you pull items from a distance. Climbing works well most of the time, but I did fall a few times because the game didn't register my grab. Moving slower while climbing usually fixes this. Overall though, the gameplay feels solid and polished. Graphically, the game looks good, running at 90Hz on the base PS5 and 120Hz on the PS5 Pro. Everything is sharp in the headset, and I only noticed a few small frame drops. In the settings, you can change aliasing, sharpness, and choose between performance or quality mode. There are a few small issues. Sometimes lighting doesn't match, enemy red lights show through walls, or textures pop in late. Some areas look better than others, but overall, it's a solid looking game that just needs a little bit more polish. The sound design is one of the strongest parts of the game. The soundtrack is simple but fits perfectly, and the atmosphere feels right thanks to great ambient sounds. The guns sound powerful, and the voice acting is pretty good. The sound really adds life and immersion to the game. Of Lies and Rain is an atmospheric, story-driven sci-fi shooter that mixes story, puzzles, climbing, and action in a good way. The data worlds change up the gameplay and add challenge, though they can be frustrating at times. Despite a few negatives, Of Lies and Rain offers a solid 10-hour campaign depending on how you play. I had a great time with it. If you're looking for a story-focused sci-fi shooter, I recommend it. If you want non-stop action, maybe skip this one. I rate Of Lies and Rain an 8.5 out of 10.